Hey, good evening, everyone. How are you all? Yeah, this is Kahi. This is Raw With It podcast. All right. Uh, I know you're used to seeing the original, the Fox Silver, but he's not. He won't be on tonight. He may pop in and surprise us. Sometimes the guy's full of surprises, right? So he may pop in and surprise us, but he's kind of occupied right now and just taking care of a couple of matters. And we're gonna miss him. We see you, bro. All right. We got you in our thoughts. And maybe you'll pop in. But anyway, this is Kahi. This is Kahi, the one, the only, the mythical. How's everyone doing? How's everyone weekend? How was their weekend? I'm gonna start off by wishing everyone uh, happy Indigenous Day and their weekend if you celebrate that, and also your Columbus Day weekend if you celebrate that, and anything else that you may celebrate uh, your festives on in the past weekend. So, not going to be on for any extended periods tonight. Definitely had a long day, a busy day, a very productive day, and I'm a little tired, if you can tell or not. Uh, Feel free to jump in the chat, uh, jump in the comment section as I jump around here and see if anyone is up in here right now. So I'll be multitasking as we fill up the audience and the guests. All right. Yeah, just want to give a couple of updates, right? Um, our man Keyshawn, who's normally on here with us, he's recovering well. Everyone keep him in your recovery thoughts. Definitely miss him being on here, but he'll be returning as soon as he's necessary, as soon as he's able. Definitely a strong bro. Been knowing him for quite some time. He's a mentally he's a fighter, and physically he's built, to just for the comeback. That's it. But he's doing well. He's doing very well, and so keep me in your thoughts. And you can share some things with him by typing in here in the comments section. I'll be more than happy to share with him and express that to him. Unless you know him personally, then you can reach out to him yourself. You know how that is, right? So, as far as any particular topics and discussions for tonight, you see we have the title of Open Dialogue, and that's just what it is. Open dialogue. Um, Open to some conversations. Uh, it can be world events, world news, some personal matters, sports, music, investing, law. So whatever you all choose, let me get myself straight. Yeah, y'all can bear with me. This is my first. This is my first and only. Well, so far as this is my first podcast doing it alone, and they didn't kick me out to the wolves, y'all. They kicked me out to the wolves. So you all feel very free to pop in and chime in on any one of the several platforms and social media outlets that you care to share your comments, complaints, concerns, as far as what you think about tonight, right? Or anything else. You know how that goes. We have a few sub platforms also that you can access and then just express a few things. Um, see, so if no one has any particular items they choose to touch on, because I'm looking at the chat and seeing who has anything. I could start at a lot of different places. So how about this? Let's have a brief. Let me start with people's financial fitness. All right. And that is totally up to the individual to, you call your own shots. I have to call my own shots. We all have to do this thing called life and adulting and parenting and working and, whichever way it goes. But the reason I brought that up is because some of the for lack of better words, is some of the things that I'm into, and some things that interest me. I'm definitely not any investment advisor, financial advisor. I'm not any of that. But what I do recognize is the importance of our financial readiness and our financial fitness, especially in crunch time. Yes, from a day-to-day basis, but in crunch time, because crunch time shows us, in my opinion, crunch time shows me where I stand and what I'm fit to handle or not handle. So there's been highs and lows in my own personal life. You've all probably had your own, but that's not for me to judge. It's not for me to judge. My thing is for me to be able to, manage my own and put myself in the proper position to handle what's necessary. And, throughout life, I think we all know that goes throughout life. I hope you can hear me better. Somebody put a 1 in the chat if they're saying, yeah, it's much better. Okay, so, things happen to people in life, and, it tells you what you're prepared to tackle and where you need to, strengthen those areas in your life, whether you're just an individual, you're a group, your spouse, your significant other. And so it definitely means a lot. When people say money doesn't mean everything, I can agree. It doesn't mean everything. There's so many other, so many things that really means a lot also. You can pick and choose yourself. But since I've been living, finances they're important. They're definitely important. I'm definitely a strong believer in trying to place myself in the position to, better handle the curveball that life throws us, the curveball that life throws me, myself. And I'm not rich. I don't even think I want to be rich. That's a whole nother set of, issues that some people wouldn't mind having to tackle. So I'm not looking to be rich at all, and it's all good. But just to be, you know, for us to be better suited for when things happen, such as, 2019, 2020, and the state of the way the financial world is happening around us right now. And it's showing us that sorry about that, everyone. No rest for the weary. Still multitasking. Yeah, my bad. So what the last few years have shown me myself is that um, how to remaneuver if it's necessary, how to re, how to consider the other options. Um, you know, for example, uh, people losing their jobs, people being laid off from their jobs, um, downsizing, and a whole host of a host of a whole lot of things that it definitely put a spin on um, people's lifestyle, basically, and their day-to-day operations. With everything that entails everyone's day-to-day living. So, again, I say I'm really not one to, talk to people about their own. I'm not advised. I'm not an expert. I'm not none of that. But it's something I do know is, that I was raised on these principles from my mom and dad. Um, all my family members, basically, my mom and dad, my aunts and uncles, those that were uh, at the forefront of showing some guidance, as best as possible. So I just knew that growing up and going through life myself, that uh, there will be, there'll always be a need to try to have your financial affairs in order as best as possible, so that you can probably have a plan in the future, and you know you probably won't be so affected. But hey, you never know what can happen. Um, that's why I say that. You know, to add on to that, and to close off with that, uh, that's one of the topics that we could get on here and speak about right now. And you know, again, you don't have to disclose nothing personal as far as your own financial situation. Um, you know, it could take us. Sometimes these things take a minute to get right. Take a minute to get right for people to be in a better position. With the way the world is happening now, with the way the economy is going, and I've seen and heard quite a few stories in the last several years of, and I'm here too, so I've been witnessing, and you know, I've been seeing myself of the strains and the strains, the encumbrances, the difficulties, the hardships that is placed on families and individuals and businesses and couples and companies, and it has an effect. Um, it has an effect because some things were caught off guard. Um, it just so happened that some things I had done early in life uh, really some moves I made early in life and throughout, to as I said, it's really good to have a plan when you're younger, so when you can fall back on it later. That's about it. And so I'm glad that I did. Actually, I'm very glad that I did. So I think that's something important. So we can leave that alone for now. I guess if I could sit there and if I could ask people a question, and then again, um, it's kind of like, are you comfortable where you are with the rest of your life right now in the financial suitability where you are? You don't even have to answer that on air or anything. I'm sure people are striving for, better or more. I know I am. I know I am. I'm trying to hit the big Powerball too. uh, I don't know what it's up to right now. Somebody can type in what it's up to right now. I don't know, a billion. I don't know, a billion with a B. Wow. So and that would be great. But the other options, uh, you know, streams of income is always important. It's definitely always important. You know, how are you? How are you, Heckle Bus? Greetings to you in Hotep. No, I cannot tell you anything or information about credit default swaps. I don't. I've heard of the term before, but I don't know about them. I don't know about credit default swaps. If anyone else out there so happens to know how to respond to that, uh, I welcome you to. You're very welcome, Heckle Bus. Thanks again. If anyone else knows how to answer that, please feel free to, you know, drop a little message in there and respond to. Can you tell me what? So the question was, can you tell me what you know about credit default swaps? I don't know about credit default swaps. Thank you, Hecklebus. Yeah, I see. I definitely will. I like that. It is Hecklebus replied with, "That is how the system is rigged. Research it." Appreciate that. I will. Thank you. I'm not going to sit and do that right this minute, uh, but definitely, it's definitely cool. Just getting used to this chat room. Excuse me. All right. Let me see what else is going on out there. Look, I don't something I don't do is I don't invest time, space, space time, nor, you know, um, energy on anything that, really is on a or what I consider to be not important to me. Okay. Because I don't mind talking about other topics. Okay. Things that are going on in Israel and the Gaza Strip and the presidency and the elections, other social medias, the new TikTokers and the entertainment industry, you know, because I don't put my time and stock and focus in that. Me myself, I tell you what, if anyone has ever seen me anywhere else aside from being on live stream, StreamYard right here on this, you can catch me in the indigenous community circles. Okay, um, that's where I put my time. That's where I put my attention. That's where I put my researches and my searching. That's where I put it. I also put my time into you know different financial vehicles, investment vehicles, um, in finances. Again, I'm like down here. I'm not up here on that. I'm really not. But that's what, at least what I mostly try to look into. So all the other topics, everything else, things that are going on in the world right now, some parts of it I'm clueless, and I can only say I heard of it or I seen it. Um, some of the things a couple of people have really brought to my attention, and it's something they're on, is what's happening over in I guess the Gaza Strip. That's what's all through the on the news. I've been into lately. Um, Another thing that people are really seem to have kind of have going on, and some things get more attention than others. There's something else that's happening, like in Africa. I don't know which country exactly, but I appreciate that. And your subs, just jumped by 10, brother. Thanks, us. Subs. What's subs? Hey, Keith Little, how are you? Man, your subs just jumped by 10, brother. Thanks, Hecklebuss. Okay. I don't know what subs are. I don't know what that is. Cool. Cool. All right. Oh, pedal. All right. Um, but some of the headline news, some of the other world news that's going on, I so I me myself, one of the reasons that I'm not always into turning on the TV and seeing what's going on is because some of the reasons that I mentioned, but also I try to get out and move around the United States, and I go visit family. You know, um, I really try to get around and go visit family and put my see what they're up to and what's on their mind, and how we can further not just strengthen the family bond, but just talk about things that's important to us, right? No matter what that may be. How's the family? How's the kids? What do you have going on these years, these days? Things of that matter. Because when I'm in my car and I'm driving, I don't listen to news. I don't listen to news at all. I'll listen to someone's podcast. I listen to someone's show. I definitely listen to my own music, and things that just my music. I'm not listening to news. I'm not listening to news. If anything, news that I listen to, it'll be what's the weather, what are the road conditions, if there's any accidents or something. And when I'm at home, I tune into it just to know enough to know the same thing. So if something really comes across the screen, or is brought to my attention, that's what I do. That's something I do myself. Um, so as for world affairs and world events, appreciate that, El Pedro. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. You're very welcome. I definitely appreciate that. Uh, how I can find you on social media somewhere. I would definitely return you would definitely return your own message, right? That's cool. Very cool. Appreciate that. Um, but yeah, like I was saying, I don't sit down and tune into the news, and just have my TV, sitting there on the news, because I like to do things outside the house. You know, when it's time to be in the house, there's always something to be done. There's always something to be done, right? So that's what my focuses are. So as far as me knowing, things that's really happening in the world, well, I have my own things that I really I really dig into, you know, like we all do. We all have our own um, set of responsibilities and priorities that we put our attention towards and we put intent towards. And other things, it's not that the other things are suffering. It's just we're taking our attentions off of it because we know where each one of us want to, steer ourselves, our families, and our kids, our loved ones. So that's how that goes. With no one else, trying to really chime in to there. I think I'll say something to the effect of if you all can name a couple of topics that it's a world topic. It's so you really have to think in a world view. And I have my opinions. I really have my opinions, and some of them are a hard stop, so to speak. Some of them are extended also. But the stability, of, or should I say, not the stability, the a world concern, the concern of the world, um, I think is always important, basically. So now looking at it from a world view, the point of view of the world, because there's some things that's happening in another part of the world that may have nothing to do with doing this live stream or laws, rules, and regulations in America, or the United States, point of view, right? So, agree, balance, a good balance. I like that. I agree, and that's definitely part of conversations that you sit and have with the Fox Silver, who's normally we're on here at the same time, and some other friends, colleagues, and family members. And you would think you would figure that between this whole planet, Earth, and all of its diplomats and parliaments and governments and administrations, presidents, uh, prime ministers, kings, queens, and what have you, you would think that there would be a possibility of striking a good balance. I've just had such conversations as what I do have with some of my friends and family also, and you really think that there would be a balance that could be achieved, and there can, but there always seems to come with a caveat. There always seems to come with a but or a what if, and understandably so. People have their own. A lot of times they have to put their own countries or their own governments, their own people. They have to put them first or keep them first and foremost in everything they do on the world stage, right? So that's understandable, because, well, if I was the leader of a country or president of a state or a corporation or entity, I'd be trying to, you want to play fair, but you also want to play hardball because you don't want to be the one on the wrong side or left in the cold or get the short end of the stick. And that kind of trickles down to everything beneath that, which, so again, I'm not up here on that scale, to make world decisions. We can sit here and do some hypotheticals about the world stage and the world views. Hell, even or even higher and beyond. But the balance would be a great thing to achieve if that's possible. But it looks, I'm not that old, but I'm not that young, but existence and creation is very, very, very long time. So in the eye of my existence, it's it's nothing. It's very, very minuscule. It's very minuscule. But we all exist here at once. We're all here right now. If you're waking up and walking around right now, even if you're 1 year old or you're 101 years old, we're all here right now. We're making these determinations, and we're seeing what's going on, with ourselves right now. Yeah, I agree, El Pedro. Thank you. Let me I don't know if everyone can see El Pedro uh statement. He says yes, international humanitarian rights, cultural differences deserve respect. To stay out of others' affairs, even if they are different than your own. God will sort them out. Do not disparage. International humanitarian rights. How important. How true. How true. But it still takes, in saying that, it still takes people, mankind, humans, to move the needle or not, or to govern themselves. It still takes people to do that. And there's times that it appears that there's misrepresentation. Okay. And, with all the, sitting there and all the faith, all the blessing. Okay, Pedro, really appreciate you. Really appreciate your input and your time on the podcast with us. It's really great. Hope to see you again, Mr. Pedro, or Miss El Pedro, or just El Pedro. Okay. Hotep and Wado and salutations and Akoki. All right. Peace. Be well. Be well. Yeah, he brought up a very good point about the whole. Okay, Keith. Appreciate that, Keith. Thank you. Thank you. But like I was saying, with the world stage and everyone, if everyone could do the right things for the right reasons, that would be excellent. And that's what everyone, I think that's an excellent thing to strive for and to look forward to. And I'm convinced that most of this, most everyone on earth, they'd be happy with that. They'll be satisfied. Everyone will be satisfied with fair, equal, equitable, balanced, harmony and synchronicity. I think that would it could only be good and great. I can't see it being, anything else. So, but, I'd like to see what you all think about, what are some of the biggest factors that are in the world right now when it comes to having things in a better place? Do you think it's policy? Do you think it's humanitarian aid? Do you think it's financial system? Do you think it's how do we assist each other in developing a stronger sense of mankind? So I think that's really interesting part right there. Anything have anyone else? Anyone have anything else at the moment? Um, hmm. Well, you really want a chance to respond. I have my own. Some of the things that I really endeavor on is, some of the things that I talk more about on other podcasts, right? Um, Other platforms, but they're more personal to me, and these right here being on the podcast is great. But maybe one day we can bring in some other audience members and guests and put them on the panel and have some further dialogue about some of these things that they're personal to me. I'm not really trying to go into that on this, not right here, not right here. Um, but I think it's fair to say that this is Raw With It. This is Raw With It podcast. That is what this is, right? Um, the way the world sees people, my opinion, is just my opinion. It's no one else's. To me, the world sees people as green, and I mean as in money, or they see them as capital in how they can make more capital off their off the population. So that goes way beyond. It goes way beyond anything that comes to money. I'm not me myself. I'm not into the. I don't get off on the oppression of other people. Not as a race, not as a culture, um, not as a classification. Um, but I do have my own opinions, about how people conduct themselves. Period. About how people conduct themselves, um, just out here in the world. About how you conduct yourself, and how you conduct yourself is really how you'll be treated. How you'll be treated, and how you'll be welcomed, or how you will be shunned. Right. So if anyone sits around and say, well, I don't care what people think about me, or screw them, I'm just gonna do my own thing, and you're not the boss of me, and you're okay. You slow down and think to yourself, if you're being looked at or viewed or treated in a particular way, it may be the way you're carrying yourself. It may be the way you're presenting yourself. It may be your presentation, and that's giving people a perception of you. You may think it's false, but it's still their perception. So my belief is how you carry yourself, and how you present yourself to others is how you will be treated. It's how you will be treated. And it's up to you, the individual, to, you know, um, make that known. So how do you carry yourself? How do you present yourself to people? And it can be a lot of different ways, as long as they respect you, and everyone respects each other. It'll go far. Um, but a bunch of foolishness, even for me, you know, and I do it to other people, it's not going to get me far at all. It's really not going to get me far. You know, you gotta really um, take a moment out and think to yourself how people see you, how do they view you, and in that case, what do you think about it? So I guess I could ask you, how much does it matter what people think of you? How much does it matter to you? Because it should. It should. We're supposed to be able to, you know, at least check ourselves, or, you know, our close ones, our relatives, loved ones. Someone should be able to just have a conversation with you. Um, you know, sometimes we need redirected. Sometimes we need redirected. Sometimes we just, you know, need to rethink what we're doing, right? So, you know, with that, I'm not going to be on much longer, and it's been a hell of a last 40 minutes. That went fast. That went very fast. You know, if I should ever jump on the live stream myself, um, I'll go more into detail and into depth about my own, you know, my own personal endeavors, my own personal views, you know, and it'll be a little more, be a little more conversation about that, you know. But I said, if anyone ever, you know, choose to follow me on any one of the platforms, it's Kahi. We can dialogue on there, and that's fine. That's really fine. Because I definitely have my opinions and perspectives on things also. Like, I really do. Um, so hopefully everyone can, you know, try to focus more on um, moving this planet forward in a good direction, you know, in a good direction that really works for everyone. Um, we'll see what the Almighty has to, you know, has in store for, you know, that also. Um, you know, we'll see that too in time. But some things that are controlled by man, they can be controlled by man. Okay, and we'll see what that looks like also. So again, I'll hang on just for we'll stand by for, you know, a few more minutes and see if anyone else has anything to bring or add to the podcast here, because it will not be long before I hop off this and get some rest. Okay, give me a moment. Oh, I'm not saying no. I can hear you. I'm still here. All right. Let's see. Okay. So without further delay, without further ado, I will probably end this in just a moment. We'll be following up through the week, and that's another thing. We're definitely trying to arrange our schedules so that we can join you lovely people at least twice a week, Thursday and Fridays. Have some more content. Thanks, my brother Todd Smith, aka James Todd Smith. That's my dude right there. Give it. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that, brother. He's always, that's a dude that's definitely always he always considers, he has a lot of consideration for other people, and not in a bad way. Just definitely, he definitely considers others' thoughts, feelings, and actions. Great dude, really great dude. I appreciate it. Appreciate the friendship, the coolness, and the opportunities to just give me the wheel tonight. How am I doing? Not all over the road. Okay, cool. That's cool. I got my blinders. I got my blinders and stuff. Okay, cool. Oh, Shiha State Park. The highest elevation in Alabama. It's a park out there. You want to look it up? Look it up. Very great visit. Very great visit with one of the actually with one of the indigenous groups that really doing great things. Had an opportunity to get out there last year sometime. It was so high up in elevation, it was freezing. Gosh, but spectacular, absolutely spectacular. All right, all right then, good people. It was marvelous tuning in to you all this evening, this 10th day of October 2023. On that note, much love, much respect. Treat people according to how you would like to be treated. And accordingly, you get what you give what you want to get in return. Right? Peace out, people. See you all again soon.